All right, there we go. We are live. We are Adventures in Lollygagging, and we are playing part two of Cloud9 from Outer Space, an adventure that we created for Electric Bastionland. So it's a game that we've played a few times now. This is, I think, our third adventure. They're self-contained stories, but we kind of overlap some characters and such. If you're unfamiliar with Electric Bastionland, it is a game set in kind of like a newly electrified city. It's kind of modern, think like early 20th century sort of type of thing. It's a fairly overpopulated place. There's aliens and machines and little mockery toys wandering around, somehow part of the population. And it's fairly rules light, and it's all about kind of creative use of the environment and use of of problem solving. And so that's where we're at. So if you're watching this live, thank you for joining us. If you're watching this later on VOD or on YouTube, we appreciate you thinking of us. And we will certainly be playing Electric Bashland again at some point, though we are going to be finishing. I promise. I really do promise. We're going to be finishing this part two because it's only supposed to be a one shot, and so it's become a two shot. So it's a two shot now. So let's get
We
some.
derailed it a little bit.
I mean, not really. I don't think so. I just, I'm terrible at pacing. Like I'm like Melissa knows this. Like I get so obsessed with pacing when we play games sometimes that I sometimes I get over obsessed. I'm just like, just relax, have fun, dummy.
Yeah, we're having
Um,
fun. We're
so
throwing people out of moving things.
well, before we got to that, I was just gonna drop some plugs first. And then we'll get into the summary. So yeah, you can catch us, our channel. Hopefully, if you're watching this later, go twitch.tv/lollygaggers and click on the follow button, and you can get notified whenever we go live. We play games every other Monday. We're playing an Alien from Free League game over on our channel. So this coming Monday, which should be the fifth, it should be the 5th, October 5th. We are continuing only with our second episode, so really early on the Alien game. You can come check that out. And then we also play a game either Friday or Saturday every weekend. We can mix it up a little bit. So Electric Bastionland sees play Mutineer Zero whenever we can. And last week we kind of touched on some cobwebs, which is a lot of fun. Ashley, Melissa, and I did that. So other things we do, because we play on other channels as well. So you can catch us on the alternate Mondays when we're not on our own channel playing Alien. We're over on the Free League Publishing channel for Twitch, and we're playing Vesson, which is very exciting. It's a very fun and amazing game, and it's a really good company that's been very supportive of opening up Twitch and allowing dummies like us to come play their games. So that's really nice. Speaking of Twitch channels that opens up for dummies like us to come play their games, we're also every Thursday over on twitch.tv/Zweihander RPG, where we play Zweihander. So, and then later tonight, I'll be hanging out with some friends over on the Goodman Games channel as we play other games as well. So lots of stuff. This big ugly potato face is in many different places. So let's get to your characters. Who are you? We're going to start randomly. I'm going to go to Melissa. Who are you and why are you here?
I am Vilta Maxwell. My former profession was a master blender, but I lost my job to a machine. Um, and I am also part of the Human Union. Um, and yeah, that's me.
Okay. So again, if this is your first time watching Electric Bastionland, like the game doesn't have like classes the way you might think of if you're like coming from Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. Instead, we have failed careers, and there's like over 100 of them, and people have to roll them randomly, and that's what you were. That's what you failed at, and now you're hunting treasure to try to make a living and pay off debt. And so you were a human unionist, which I think means you were like part of a labor union and did protesting professionally or something like that as well. I think it might have been
Yeah,
it.
and I really don't like machines
Oh
because,
yeah,
they
yeah,
took
because
my
they
job
they took their
and
jobs. Yeah,
yep.
which is why the last adventure worked so well with Vilta, because it was all about machines taking jobs from away from good,
Yep.
hard-working meat and cheese professionals. Uh, we're gonna randomly go over to Derek. Who are you? Why are you here? Justify your existence.
My existence is known as Douglas. I was a Dead-Shoresman, which is essentially I died and came back to life. No one believes me. Everyone I've known is long dead. And I used to be, I guess, like high society. So I'm very, well, Douglas is very refined
Mm-hmm.
and can often shoot things with his flintlock pistol because he has such low stats.
Yeah, yeah. Douglas has been an Amazing conundrum.
It's like a wild card.
Yeah, just a walking contradiction. The lowest of stats, which means it's the hardest to pass the tests. It always seems to pass the test and gets shit done. It's really kind of impressive in a way. Cool. And then we've got Long Lee, new character. Who are you?
Playing Jinsey. He got to start as a necro engineer by being a widow tender.
Okay. What's a necro engineer?
Something that deals with disposal of corpses in Bastion here.
Okay. So the idea of like engineering things from like dead stuff. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, some sort of, and yeah, just inventing, I guess, new ways to deal with the corpses.
Okay. Specifically widows, apparently.
Right.
Okay.
And then something about a feasting garden is the big project that I was working on.
Okay. This is a feasting garden.
Is that how we all got our debt?
You gotta, yeah. And so because we threw another person into the group, the way that works mechanically is that you increase the debt by 1,000. On the bright side, if you complete this mission, I feel like you're gonna be able to pay off your debt. So let's move over to Chuffwick. Ashley, tell us about your old crazy woman.
My name's Miss Chuffwick. I talk like this all the time. She's not a smoker or anything.
She just chooses to talk like that.
Yeah. She's just very gravelly. Her failed career was she was unrevolutionary. So basically, I follow behind Vilta with each of their new revolutions against and protests, and I put things back in order.
Yeah.
So I imagine, because I paid for my way in the last adventure to get in by just giving them old pamphlets of like possible revolutions, pretending it was money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she gets everywhere with her broom. That's what she does.
Like a little
I
witch.
could have gotten some really cool stuff if I rolled low.
Yeah.
I would have gotten a flamethrower.
A flamethrower? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I rolled
flamethrower, broom, you know.
Yeah. I rolled pretty in the middle, so I got smoke bombs to begin with, but those are used up.
Yeah.
But and I still have a fantastic sandwich in a ridiculously sturdy lunchbox.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like that sandwich is probably crappy by now. It's been sitting around for
Probably
a couple
no,
of
I make.
But it's in a sturdy lunchbox.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, it's a hermetically sealed lunchbox. All right, so again, every one of these adventures is entirely self-contained. So, hey, Adam, yes, brooms and flamethrowers sound amazing. Imagine a broom and a flamethrower together, so that you're just burning away the dust on the floor, as opposed to sweeping it up.
Can we retcon that?
No,
that sounds
but
amazing.
Maybe I'll put it in as an oddity at some point. Oddities are like these fancy little like technological gadgets you come across.
I'm actually picturing like a witch flying through the sky on a broom, except it's not just
there's
a broom.
Flames,
It's a flamethrower.
Or it's a
and that
witch
explains
flying
the
around
propulsion.
and she's got a flamethrower and she's just dosing the entire city below.
Miss Chuffwick would like that very much.
Indeed they would. So okay, so our story. You still got a little bit of debt that you're trying to pay off to this damn Slugburn Pest Control Company, who really is just like basically like waste control thug people that we've seen pop up every now and then. But you got a lead on thank you for the bits, Adam. Fire for flamethrower. We'll say this. There's on the bus that you're on, there'll be a we'll call it a bad fire extinguisher that is like a reverse fire extinguisher. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. We'll call it a reverse fire extinguisher. That's what we'll do for those bits.
Nice.
Maybe we could do that. We just like if we ever keep going with Electric Bastionland, maybe we'll throw some bits out there. Come up with a random oddity right on the spot.
That would
Something
be very cool.
Silly and stupid, and we'll put it in the game. All right, so you all got a lead because hanging above in the sky, there's this balloon craft, right? This that's been stuck up in the sky for a really long time, and it's only really visible if you look through a very good telescope, which you were able to by going to this aristocratic junkyard on a penthouse in the southern parts of Electric Bastionland, and you got this job. And you had two choices. I'm like, well, how are we going to get all the way the hell up there? And so the two kind of approaches that you were given, or you were suggested to you, is you could go over to the Air Force, which is this think tank filled with people who like to mess with the elements, specifically air, or you can go over to Bricklebag's Bird's Eye Tours, and they fly sky tour buses, which are basically a cross between like a double-decker school bus and a helicopter, all around the city. And you could figure out some way to use that to fly up. You chose the latter, and you chose. I did. That is 200. That is my number. So maybe it's something that my people, the NPCs, carry to kill you with. So you all chose the latter, and you got on board of this bus after being kind of
Shaken down.
Shaken down, exactly, as you were put in a prison, and like well, if you're not going to buy tickets for this bus tour, then I guess there's no reason for us to let you out of this prison. So you get on this bus, and you notice that it's run by these big kind of ex-cons, and then also there's these bird-like mockeries, these little birds that fly up and down on like these rails inside that are entertaining the passengers with stories about Electric Bastionland's history and all that kind of such. And so you all are trying to figure out, like, what the hell are we doing? And so you decided, hey, let's hijack the bus. Like, that's what we're going to do. We're going to hijack the bus. And do you remember how you went about doing that?
That was my idea.
It was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant too. And
I noticed there were 3 rehabilitated citizens. I think that's how they prefer to be called.
That's true. That's right.
And in my backpack, I also found 3. Let me find the item name. 3 industrial anesthetics. And thank God intelligence is not one of the stats in this, because I put those numbers together and I was like, hey, let's just put them to sleep and we'll just take over this joint. And it worked on the first 2 people, but then they quickly discovered us, became suspicious, and then we became violent. So.
Right. And okay, so so how did we end up? We've got 2. I know we've definitely got 2 people that are unconscious. Did you stick the driver as well?
So we got the engineer dude that went outside and was hitting the propeller for whatever reason.
And
we got the navigator,
Edmund?
and then we just and the navigator, whose name
was Beatrice.
I do not remember.
Was
Beatrice, that's right.
Yeah.
And then we just did some concussive maintenance on the pilot's head. So he's unconscious from, I think, a broken oar and a sledgehammer, or whatever Jinsey had.
That sounds right.
I think it was Jinsey and I think were beating the hell out of him. That's right. It was the shovel.
And then somebody tried to take over piloting. Who was the one who actually took over the controls?
Vilta.
Okay.
Vilta, I believe.
And so while Vilta was piloting, Miss Chuffwick was trying to very carefully escort the old tourists off the bus and onto the rooftop of one of these very tall skyscrapers within Electric Bastionland. And Chuffwick, how did that go?
Crit failed.
Failed.
These poor women, because we couldn't get the bus to stop. So we just kind of went in slow circles, but I had first tossed their walking things. And
Walkers?
that got on the rooftop, but they did not. So they kind of ping pong balled down, hitting a couple buildings.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Mockeries made it.
The Mockeries did make it. I like how you're like, well, they're birds. I'm like, well, sort of. They're bird toys. So, okay.
They survived.
Yep. So that's what we'll pick up. We'll pick up you having just murdered,
7 women.
7 women. Yeah, 7 old women, Golden Girls, and the cast of Golden Girls and their extended family. You managed to kill all of them by throwing them out the window.
My notes just say Miss Chuffwick tossed 7 old ladies.
It's just
whoops, crit failed.
I just like to think about what it was like.
Enjoy your notes.
For the people at the bottom, on the street, who just randomly see old ladies falling out of the sky. It's just...
Instead of, it's raining men, it's just the Golden Girls theme song.
And if you threw
just imagine someone looked up and is this the end times?
Yeah. Oh my God, this is it. First it was locusts, then it was old ladies falling from the sky. Okay, so...
Dude, I wonder if I killed any extra people, because if I hit someone, that's collateral damage.
I want y'all to think about this, by the way, too. In the 3 adventures that we've had, think of the collateral damage that you have put on this poor city. The first one, you basically let a mini kaiju art monster free on the southeast corner of the district that smashed around until they stopped.
It's their fault for keeping it.
For that.
That's fair.
If they did not remove the things to stop it from printing and keeping self-contained, we would have been fine.
It's raining. Yeah, it's raining old ladies. There we go. And then the second one, you all partially drained the canal. Do you remember that?
Marine
Yes.
life.
Oh,
It's
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and
That was me and who?
that was
Derek? Wasn't
no,
that?
that
no,
was
it was Long.
No, that was
That was
long.
Simo.
yeah,
Simo.
Simo.
Yeah. Okay.
We made friends with the poor little robot, and then
Yep.
he's like, "Let me help you."
Yep. Okay. So let's get started. We are on the Sky Bus. We are on Brigglebag's Bird's Eye Tours, and you all have hijacked this thing. You have control. Vilta's at the controls, which are kind of unnervingly in bad condition, and you know where you've got to go. Someone's got a spyglass and kind of can look out. I think it was Chuffwick, this big, horrible looking thing, and you can see exactly where you need to go.
My faraway glasses.
Yeah, in the long, long ago, in the far, far away. So, what do we do?
Beelining it for our target.
Okay, can you please make
What's
it?
the fuel level?
Okay, so you check the fuel level.
That's what I was wondering. Can we use some of those bits for a gas tank?
So you go ahead and you click you tap the thing a little bit, and you try to get an idea on whether or not there's enough fuel, and you notice that like the gauge just is like kind of stuck at around half, and you're not sure if it's moving. And you're like,
Dear.
I don't know. So it's around half full. As you start to look around the bus a little bit, now that you have more freedom and you can stretch your legs, you notice a few other things as well. You have the reverse fire extinguisher, obviously, which is definitely a malfunctioning fire extinguisher that actually shoots flames as opposed to carbon dioxide stuff to turn out, to smother fires.
Someone failed their chemistry exam.
Exactly. You also find some parachutes, but you only find 3. Now, you periodically hear, now that there's not these birds chirping and doing Shakespeare in the park, you now hear like the propeller every now and then as it's going as it like kind of stops and such every now and then.
Okay, so we got parachutes, right?
3 of them.
And we have a flamethrower. Why don't we make our own hot air balloon? Thoughts? Concerns?
I'm concerned at how we would stitch those together and not burn
I'm an
it.
old lady. I've got stitching stuff, I'm sure.
Did anyone
I
get
for
meat
fun.
glue from the last adventure?
Ooh,
Oh, that's a shame. There was a meat glue item. I don't know if you all picked it up or not.
I don't think we
I know
did.
you got
don't think
spices
so.
and other stuff.
I'm
There's
sad.
some other. Oh, that's a shame. There was meat glue. It literally stitches together any type of meat.
Got the HP cheese curds.
Okay.
That was-
We ate all those.
Do you try to fly the bus up here, or do you try to use the parachutes to create your own hot air balloon?
I'm gonna go with the bus because the
Yeah,
parachutes are our only way to
going with the
safety.
bus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vilta-
If the
Oh, I meant
gas
for the
runs
bus.
Okay. Vilta, go ahead and roll a dex save to see how well that you go and
no.
fly this stuff. Oh yeah, this is a very uncomfortable ride. This is about as much chop as you can ever get. It is like you all can't even sit still. You try to sit down, you get a little nauseous here and there, maybe you upchuck a little bit, but it is an absolute terrible ride. And you realize after 20 to 30 minutes worth of climbing, that the propeller is really starting to sound kind of like it's laboring pretty hard. And not only that, but it's getting really cold in here. And it's just like, and you're starting to feel a little kind of on a lightheaded side a bit as you look around, the windows are open and everything. And go ahead and Jinsey, roll me a luck test for D6. Oh God. Okay.
A 1.
Okay, that's always the worst. That's the worst result.
Oh.
So, as you're flying, Vilta, you see above you that there is this cloud. It's not the one that you're heading to. That one's still a little bit off, but you see this other cloud that's kind of in the way. And you're doing your best because you're not really sure, perhaps, what might happen if this goes through a cloud. And as you do go through it, you do your best to turn around, but you just can't. And you're like clipping part of it. And so parts of the cloud start moving inside. And you realize as you continue to move up, the cloud seems like stuck to you now. And it's like kind of wrapped around. And when you start to see it, those of you that aren't flying, you can see that little bits and tendrils of the cloud have wrapped itself around aspects the bus itself. So you can see it wrapping around the chairs. You can see it wrapping around some of the windows. I want the three of you who aren't flying to go ahead and roll dex saves to see if you are able to avoid being touched by one of these clouds.
These are interesting clouds.
Let me know if you fail. Oh, it's something. It's something.
I
Damn.
failed.
It's something. It might be living. It might not be. Okay. So as you all, those of you who failed, anyone pass? Anyone pass? Jincy, did you pass? Or did you fail? Okay, there we
Each
go.
one.
Yeah,
All of you failed. So all of you, like, as it's coming in, you're thinking, like, oh, it's just cloud, no big deal. It's like fog or whatever. But then you start to see it wrap around things and kind of start to tilt the whole bus a little bit, and you realize this ain't just some normal cloud, and it starts to wrap around you all, and you feel like this sudden charge of electricity as the entirety of this huge tissue, like cotton like thing, begins to just suddenly light up like a and each one of you will go ahead and take d6 worth of damage. This is going to be all of you. I'll just roll it one for everybody. Everyone takes 1 point of damage. But you can see that it's also having the same sort of electrifying effect on the whole of the ship. And you would imagine the propeller as well, which suddenly it's that careful suddenly slows even more, and you can feel yourself having much more difficulty steering. You can feel kind of a drop in altitude a little bit as it's really struggling. And you would probably expect that the cloud has kind of wrapped itself around you all. What do you want to do?
Quick
Do
question.
we understand the reverse fire extinguisher? Do we understand what it does, or do we think it's an actual fire extinguisher?
I would say, unless somebody tests it, you think it's probably an actual fire extinguisher. Seems the most
Did I
likely.
also take that damage?
Yes, everyone takes 1 point.
Okay. And what happens when you go exactly to 0 HP?
You suffer a scar. Awesome. I don't think we've had a scar yet. This is great. Okay, so if you're at exactly 0,
I am.
let me pull up the list. Unfortunately, I think... Oh, okay, yeah, so you get a battle scar. So the way this works is you look at how much damage it took you to go from where you were to exactly 0, and that determines what kind of scar you get. And so you were at 1, took 1 damage, you went to 0, and you take, and you're going to get what's called a battle scar. And so a part of you is violently marked. So roll a d6.
Okay.
Give her the Harry Potter lightning bolt.
6.
Okay, it's your hands, and so as you're hanging on the controls, the cloud just kind of comes in and just wraps itself around the various sticks in your hands and just begins to just electrify, and you can see it burning some of the skin off of your hands a bit, and you can see that they're going to be fairly scarred for a very long time. You also get to re-roll your maximum HP on a d6 and keep the result if higher, which I don't think it's going to. So roll a d6.
My current is 5.
Okay, so you keep 5.
Okay.
All right. So some of the scars actually have positive benefits.
So you went to 0 HP or 0 whatever damage you took?
0 HP.
0 HP, she said.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So,
still have strength.
while this cloud is wrapped around, there's no way that you guys can really rest. So what do you want to do? You can definitely tell that there's something going on with the ship, and like the cloud, it seems to be interfering with its operations, and it doesn't seem to want to detach from you all.
And the blades of the helicopter didn't like cut at it or anything as we
It's
were
hard to see
going up?
from here. You can definitely tell that like it's affected the propeller. It's still going, but it seems to have affected it. It's possible that maybe the blades cut through it, but it's still the shaft of the propeller. Maybe some stuff got tucked into it. Until someone goes up and looks, you're not gonna be really sure.
Yeah, I guess I would do that. I would poke my head out the window and see if I can see
Okay.
the cloud wrapping itself around, if I
Sure.
can hear the slowing of the tapping.
If you just poke your head out, that's fine. No need to roll for that. You can just look up and you can see, like I said, it's like, since it's a spiral, it's spoken, you can see that there's a tendril of cloud that's just wrapping and wrapping and wrapping and around. And even though the blade seems to have the propellers are cutting through it, it's not as easy sometimes, depending on how voluminous the cloud is when it hits. It'll cut through, but sometimes you can see it sort of slows it until it comes. And whenever it slows, you can feel that heavy drop. It's just not a good idea to fly through this cloud. So, what would you like to do?
Which everyone is saying to Vilta, and Vilta's like, I'm not a pilot. I didn't know.
And you're watching all of the controls in front of you are just sparking. Just electrical sparks are coming out as the tendrils are still kind of connected to the sticks and to the console. So the whole bus is electrified at this point.
I would say we just drop altitude.
What were you going to say, Vilta? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm assuming my stirring ore is wooden. And so I want to see if I can like move it off of the controls in front of me.
Okay. So you just sort of try to very easily kind of slide through. Roll your damage die for your ore. Probably D6, I'm guessing.
6.
Okay, yeah. With a full 6, you manage to swipe all of it. Oh, you just managed to detach it. It's like cotton candy. It's like sticking now to your ore, but you're able to kind of scrape it against the outside of the window, clearing the ore, and you can see that the tendril kind of gets kind of sucked back up into the rest of the cloud itself.
Okay, so I'm going to yell at everybody, find something wooden, because I'm imagining kind of to ground yourself while you're trying to like touch it.
Okay. Jincy, Chuffwick, Douglas, what do you all want to do?
I will use my broom.
Okay. So you will start using your broom to sort of swiping away. Go ahead and roll a d6. Like or your because your broom doesn't actually have a value, just call it a d6.
Yeah.
Just call it d6.
2.
Okay. Yeah, I mean you're kind of swiping and brushing, and it's again it's getting caught up in the bristles, it's getting caught up, and it's not quite sticking, getting off. It's still sticking to you a bit, but you're making some very slow progress. Jincy, Douglas, what are the two of you doing?
I'm gonna use my shovel because that's all I have.
Okay. Is it bladed? Metal shovel?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, roll a d6 for luck.
But the handle should be wooden, right?
Okay. And the handle is wooden, and so you're able to very easily, that's what that was for. If you rolled a 1, it was going to be all metal, and he was going to electrocute himself and die. So you do manage to start scraping away. Now roll some damage. Roll your damage die for your shovel. Just like shooting guns. Like
3.
Shoot. Okay. Yeah, kind of like Chuffwick, you're making progress, but it's slow and not as considerable. Anything you want to do, Douglas?
I guess I want to test shooting the tendril that's wrapping itself around the propeller so if I can lean out of the window and like sit on it and just take a shot and see if it like reacts to that.
All right, I think I'll take it. I think I'll want a dex save for that, just to be careful. So go for it. If you roll a natural 20, you're falling out of the ship. Okay, with a 10, so we'll say that you managed to shoot. Okay, and it'll snap a bit of the tendril that's around the actual propeller, and you can see that in doing so, like a little bit is still wrapped around it, but the fact that it's just free of being attached to something, it's suddenly moving much better. If you can tell that it's probably going to maybe it might burn it off at some point, but you can feel yourself as you're reaching out. Hang on, I got to sneeze. Just in time. They heard it all on Zoom, but I managed to get the mute so that I did it. I was so proud of myself. Like I didn't think it was going to happen. So as you're leaning out, you don't realize that the cloud itself kind of brushes up against your back shoulder, and you can feel yourself kind of getting tugged out the window at this point. It's like you're outside and the tendrils trying to scoop you back up into the air, and you're like clinging to the side of the bus. I'm going to need Chuffwick, and Jincy. Go ahead and roll dex saves.
No good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, so if you failed, so that's going to be Jincy. Jincy, oops, I didn't mean to make that 2. Hang on one sec. Jincy takes 6 points of damage as you can feel electrification is around you.
Does that go into dex damage or what kind of?
Oh no, it's just damage, just straight up damage. So HP first, and if you go into strength, let me know.
Yeah, I went to strength, a whole 4 points.
Okay, roll a strength save.
I was gonna.
And if you fail this,
Oh, Okay.
That's a success. Yeah, you feel good. You're okay. You're fine, and you manage to sort of steady yourself, keep yourself from falling over. Now, as this is all happening, as the two of you and as Vilta is doing your best to control the ship, you can all hear Douglas suddenly like shout or something as he's being pulled. And you look over and you can see him being pulled by a tendril out the window. What do the three of you want to do?
I'm gonna go pull him back in.
Okay, so you run over and just start trying to pull as best you can. Okay, if is anyone else helping?
I'm maintaining my place
Okay.
at the controls.
Okay. Jinsey, are you helping at all?
Yeah, I'll help.
Okay. So you go over and I'll say since two of you are helping him, I won't require a roll, and you're able to kind of just pull him back in, and again it just sort of snaps. That little tendril of like cotton candy like cloud just snaps off, and a little piece of the clothing that you're wearing, you can see just kind of gets pulled a bit, and then there's a little bit of a tear, but eventually it releases and you manage to pull him back in. But the good news is that the shot from the gun that managed to sever the propeller has seemed to help it a bit, and you're able to kind of just power the bus up at this point, up and through in a way. And while there's still a few loose tendrils here and there that have detached themselves from the central cloud, like you're able to kind of easily go around and with your shovels and brooms and kind of just scrape them off. And it seems like you've managed to kind of bypass like whatever this was. You start looking
And there's
around.
still some
Yeah.
there's still some sticky stuff left if we wanted to like get it looked at or something.
Right.
later.
So, yeah, you could certainly scoop some of this up into a jar if you would like. And you can see that even that stuff, the little bits are kind of like electrified, like when you have to be very careful when you touch it. So if anybody has like jars or something like that, they can easily just tuck it
Like
into
a
there.
jellyfish cloud.
Something like that, sure. So I'll say,
I have
Derek,
some jars.
roll D6. So you'll all will get 5 in total in the group. 5 condensed lightning, which might be worth something to somebody. So it's like, or sticky lightning, you can also call it too.
So like one each, and then one person gets 2.
Sure. Yeah, however you want to divvy it up. Okay. So you continue your travel, and along the way, it's getting a little hard to breathe. You are able to finally get a moment to rest, to take a breath, as there's a little bit of time between this cloud and getting up towards the balloon craft, and so you can go ahead and restore your HP. And
Nice.
as you get a little bit closer, you do notice that there, like if you get the eyeglass out, you can see that there's movement, and then there's like this really large spiral cloud that seems to be stuck to the balloon. Like the balloon itself, if you recall, there were 2 balloons, and it was almost like a very small like boat, and then like on either side of like this large gondola or like a Viking ship or something like that, there were these 2 balloons that were attached. One of the balloons is sort of just tipped sideways, and you can tell that maybe they're tangled like you were or whatever, but it almost looks like it's hitting the roof of something and kind of tipped over. It's very peculiar looking. Ashley, roll a D6 for me. This is just kind of curious to see what the state is when you arrive. Okay. You do notice that there's like this large, almost perfectly cylindrical cloud that is like right off the bow of this ship. And as you're doing your best to steer the sky bus up there, you notice that there's like this little lights that are coming through it, but it's not like lightning. They're almost colorful. It's like there's a pattern to it. It doesn't seem violent, but it's just like, and you can kind of hear this sound too. It's very hard to breathe up here, by the way. Everyone's like, it's like you're in Denver all of a sudden, and you're like, oh, I wasn't prepared for this. So what do you all want to do?
Does it seem that cloud is interfering with the hot air balloon? Like that is keeping it there, or
so
it's doing something to it? Like it's touching it?
There's like
essentially?
this large kind of swirling mass above it, and so it's hard to tell specifically, but like whether it caused it to stop or whether it's taking advantage of the balloon craft being stopped is hard to tell. but it does seem that that cloud, which is not moving, which is far too perfectly cylindrical to be like a naturally occurring cloud. It almost looks like a perfectly cut cookie sheet, from like a sheet of dough, which is kind of strange looking. So it's hard to tell specifically what, unless you get closer and investigate.
So we
Would
we gonna get in it?
So you have a choice. Like, you can fly right up to the boat, to the balloon craft itself, or to this neighboring cylindrical cloud thingy that has weird pulsing lights.
My thought was to go on the other side of the craft from where the pulsing lights are, so that we could try to get on it and kind of take a look at it, and then go over and deal with the cloud if we needed to.
Okay.
So that was going to be my steering direction, unless anybody shouts anything otherwise.
Roll a deck save and see how well you manage to move this ship close to the boat.
Can
Okay.
I like assist by like navigating or something, or no?
No, I think she still has to do it. It's not about
Okay.
her not knowing where to go. It's about her seeing if she can get to where she needs to go. It's about using the
Got it.
controls and like the right.
Me and my
proper
2
order.
hours of bus driving experience.
Yeah, it's not. It's not going too well.
You don't have your D class driver's license, or is it C class?
Oh god.
Whichever one, I don't have it.
So, okay, like, it's not terrible. Like, you don't full on crash into the thing, but you definitely bump against it, and you can see that the propellers manage to cut through one of the lines connecting like the balloon that's still attached to it, and
Eek.
you are like hovering the sky bus right next to it. It's just sort of, the propeller is just constantly whipping. Every now and then it kind of hits the one good balloon, kind of flops down, okay, and then like hits the propeller, then flops back up really violently, and then that kind of thing's going on. But you're hovering. What do you want to do? And you would know that it's like, you kind of have to be here to control this thing, unless you figure out some way to jury rig the controls here. What do you want to do?
Everybody off. I'm gonna, it's like a bank heist. Like I'm the driver, and it's like hanging out at the curb, and everybody else needs to get off and go do their thing.
Okay. So, all three of you hop off. Go ahead and roll deck saves to literally hop off. Oh, Jincy, you're having just a wonderful time rolling tonight.
Yup.
Ooh.
Oh, Chuffwick, that's no good.
Wow.
Chuffwick with a crit fail falls
Douglas with the rolls.
all the way back down and splatters in Times Square. No, I'm not going to say that, but I will say that she makes the jump and misses, and she falls down the side of the boat, okay, this balloon craft, and just at the last second managed to like grab on to a line or a ladder, and it's just clinging there with one hand and is about to die. Douglas, you do a somersault through the air. You look off to the side, salute the judges, and you land perfect 10 on the deck, no problem. Jincy, you hop over and you slam again, like you try to jump and you kind of make it, but like your stomach like lands right on the railing of the balloon craft, and you completely lose all semblance of air. You just and you can go ahead and you'll take some damage from doing so. And again, you restored your HP, but now reduced 2 from it, as that hurt, and you can kind of crawl the rest of the way up. Now, on the deck of the ship, you notice that there is, if you think about like a roadster, like a car that's got like its engine block that's like half coming up from the hood of the car, it's very much like that. In the center of the ship, there is this complex and peculiar looking machine with all sorts of spirals and pulleys and pistons that are still sort of firing, but you can see there's smoke that's erupting from them. It's certainly struggling. There is a hatch that seems to go down below deck, and you can see that there are these 2 creatures of what, honestly, it just looks like these sort of humanoid shaped clouds that have these periodic lights pulsing, and they're just kind of inspecting the machine a bit when you hop over,
God.
and they turn to look. Chuffwick is still hanging below, Douglas and Jinsey, what do you do?
I would move to immediately try and pull her up or assist her if I can.
Okay, so you reach down and you start trying to pull her up. No problem. Jinsey, what are you doing?
Yeah, once I get my grounding here, I'll have to assist as well.
Okay. And so you hear like these strange sounds coming from behind you, like these almost binary sounds, like and then like lights, they begin, like the entirety of the body of these like creatures are just flashing lights. And so it's like orange with a rapid pulse, and then it's like a little bit of blue that's steady, and then it's like pink that like flashes 3 times, and then it's like all this weird juxtaposition of blinks and flashes and colors of light, and they're doing this with their heads, so to speak, kind of focused in your direction. And at this point, Shuffleck will say that you managed to kind of get up to the top. We'll say you go ahead and take those 2 points of damage that Jinsey took as well, since you fell and like your shoulder's probably bugging you from like grabbing that. What do you do with these weird lights that are going on?
There's
They look
no hostile
people-like,
action.
right?
Not yet. They're humanoid. They're tall and thin and lithe, and you see no, like, they look like clouds. You see no kind of physical, tangible thing. It's more just like this swirling tissue, and then you're not even sure what's manifesting the light.
Hello. Miss Traffic greets them.
Okay. So
and
you say hello.
waits just
More flashing and
any-
blinking. Anybody else? Hello. I love that one. Jinsey, Douglas, do you do anything?
I guess I would like cautiously and slowly wave. I wouldn't want to make any sudden actions just in case they
Sure.
take it as like hostile. I
makes
don't know
sense.
what these things are.
Makes sense. Jinsey, do you just pull out the gun and start blasting? So
I'll
anyways,
ignore
I
it.
started blasting.
Let's ignore it for now. It's
Okay.
not bothering me.
It's not bothering you, so you're just ignoring them. All right. I'll have Chuffwick. You can roll Chuffwick and Douglas. You can roll charisma saves just to sort of how, like, with your hands up or with your talk or whatever, and see if either of you can pass this.
twinsies. Okay.
Okay. You can see that suddenly the lights begin to like rapidly pulse, and then they go like this bright red. And you can see that their arms begin to come up with like these weird kind of like a tendril starts floating in the air, and it begins to rapidly shape into something that almost looks like a drill bit, like this almost like a digging drill, and it's going to fire kind of off in one of your directions.
Oh God.
I think it's gonna go. Let's see. I'll do a 1, 2, and 3. I'll say 1, 2, Chuffwick, 2, 3, 4, Douglas, and 5, 6, Jinsey. Jinsey, it's coming at you. Jinsey, roll a d6.
Oh no.
What did I do?
Nothing. The other two actually did something. You're just ignoring them. All right, roll a d6. Don't roll a 1.
Oh, it's a 1.
Oh no.
Okay. So you all watch as this beam of light of something comes pouring out of what now is like a drill bit at the end of this arm, and completely and utterly annihilates Jinsey, who turns into molecules, and his molecules just float up into space. You can go ahead and roll a new character.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
my God. Was that
Oh.
a luck roll or what?
You rolled a 1. It's
Oh no.
you rolled a 1. That's the worst case scenario. I'm sorry.
So it's disintegration.
It just
Jeez.
completely and utterly disintegrated him.
Oh Christ.
You just look, and Jinsey was standing right next to you, and he is not standing next to you any longer.
Maybe we just wait an hour and hurry up here.
And so once again,
no.
they start going through like a series of lights and flashes and blinks. Do the two of you do anything now that you've seen
I guess-
Jinsey obliterated?
Yeah, I guess I would shoot at them immediately. Like
Okay.
that would definitely catch me off guard and surprise me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Chuffwick?
I want to throw my sticky lightning at them.
Jinsey, roll a new seriously, roll a new character. It's totally fine. You're going to throw your sticky weapon at them? I'm sorry, what?
My lightning.
The stuff
Okay.
we just got.
Okay. All
I
right.
was totally thinking the same thing.
Okay, like almost like a grenade.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be like a D8 blast. So blast means it'll hit both of them.
Okay.
So I'll say both of you roll your damage.
D8. 8.
Okay. Oh no, damn.
I thought the weapon was supposed to be somewhere on the.
It should be.
Since I'm hitting both, are you still shooting? Because they
He
can't.
is shooting.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's going to be a nade as well because my flintlock pistol does a D8. I just can't find the button on the.
There's an
main
items tab.
screen.
Look at the items tab at the bottom of the screen. Like when you open up your character sheet.
Yeah, but
It's there.
oh wait, is it this leftmost? Okay, that's what it is. All
yeah,
right,
I'm
sorry.
looking at it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Jinsey. Poor Jinsey. Okay. So 8 points of damage as you fire, and you can see, like, in addition to the firing of the gun, the immediate, like, just disintegration of Jinsey next to you. Douglas, you pull your gun, you fire. Chuffwack, you just grab whatever is in your coat pocket and just chuck it at them, and it explodes. And they both take like 8 points of damage, and you can see that they, as they see, like, it definitely seems to have infected them in some way. As the little spirally, the spirally drill bit that's now on their arm now suddenly stops and kind of doesn't really work quite right. And you're gonna see that the one of them is gonna spend a turn trying to fix it, and the other one's going to charge in at the two of you. And I will go ahead and just like roll a 50-50 on who it attacks. So we'll say it's going to be 1 to 3 is Chuffwick, 4 to 6 is Douglas. It'll be Douglas. So Douglas is going to come in, and it's just going to, its arm just kind of turns into something like a whip. And it's just again, it's almost like it's changing out the bit of the arm, so it's no longer, and it's just going to whip around and pull your legs out from underneath. And it'll attempt a dex save to see if it's successful at doing so. See if I can kind of get you on the ground. It'll fail, and so you're able to kind of hop over top of this thing. What are you two doing? These two things are still up.
I'm going to shoot the one that attacked me.
Okay. Chuffwick, what do you want to do? The other one's back by the machine and is like trying to fix its little drill bit
I want to
laser
tackle
gun.
him to the ground.
Okay. So you run up.
Just like imagine I'm very square shaped, so think like babushka grandma lady, and
Okay.
I'm just gonna run at him, tackle him to the ground, and as I'm tackling him, she's like scolding him, like you do not hit me like this. Yeah,
Okay.
you know, she's like angry old grandma.
All right. Okay. So you want to tackle him to the ground.
Yes.
Let's see. I'll have him roll a dex save to see if he can kind of avoid that. 16 is no good. So you do manage to take this one to the ground and kind of interrupt their ability to repair this little weapon.
Okay.
Douglas, go ahead and roll your damage.
I did. It's right above the dex save you rolled.
7.
The 7.
That will put them into strength. All right, puts them down to 7. I need a 7 or higher to not go to critical damage. Rolled a 3, so they are still up and kicking. It's gonna once again turn around and just this time it's you can see as its extension, its arm extension, and it's gonna turn into like this kind of hammer bludgeoning type thing. And it's just going to whack down on top of you. This is just going to be a D8 attack. And I only roll 1, so 1 point of damage against Douglas. And then I think the one that you've now tackled, Chuffwick, is just going to try, even though their weapon doesn't seem to be working properly, it's still going to try to just impale you with it because it is still kind of a drill bit. And
Okay.
so I'm going to make that a D8, and it's going to shove that into your stomach for 5 points of damage.
So that takes me 3 into my strength.
Roll a strength save.
And I fail.
All right, and that is critical damage.
Oof.
Okay. Vilta, I would say you can see all this happening. It's insane. Everything that just went down. Like Jinsey is no more. Literally turned into molecules and is floating into this clouds and sky above. I'll give you an option if you want. Like, you're not in the fight, but if you want to, like, on this like the second round that we're in, if you want to move, I'll give you an opportunity then on your next turn to like get involved. But it does mean who knows what's going to happen to the bus.
Ugh, gosh.
We also still have the workers on the bus. Are they awake yet?
No, they're not. They're out for hours. That's industrial strength anesthetic.
Oof.
It's
Yeah,
shot
I'm
demons.
gonna need to stay put, I think.
Okay.
What I might actually do, how long is this? Like from where we are to where the other round thing is? How far is that? Like a couple bus lengths?
Oh, the cloud thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so like think like a very like a longboat, like a Viking longboat, maybe
Okay.
25 feet in length or so, and like on either side is where the thing. So it's maybe on the other side. We'll say like you're kind of at the at the bow, and like there at the aft or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, it's your fault. Jinxie's dead, Ashley. That's what Tay says. You said hi first, yeah.
Oh, I should have
Yeah.
been shot first.
There was
Uh-oh.
kind of a general idea for a solution I had in mind for that, but like you also if you failed your charisma saves, it would have been okay, but it didn't go well. But there's also just a pure solution. We'll talk about it later. Um, so are you done, Long?
Yeah, I got my dude.
Okay, so you have been hiding below deck amidst this sort of mixture of nets and other gear as whatever the hell's been happening for the last couple of days. You remember seeing your partner just obliterated just in front of you as you were interrupted in your ascent, and then you hit something and you've been trying to effect repairs or whatever. What profession did you end up getting?
I end up being a star blessed.
Oh, okay, that's even better because maybe you were going home or something like that, or maybe you're used to the sky. So that actually worked out really well. And you hear all sorts of noise. You hear the sounds of that obliterating beam. You hear the sounds of people screaming and falling up above you. This is round 2 of combat still. What do you want to do? It's the first time like you've heard anything other than like their weird kind of buzzing and blinking, and you've managed to avoid them noticing you for a little bit.
I'll come up from above then.
Okay. So you move up and you can see that there is an old woman that has tackled one of these things to the ground, and you notice there's this like drill bit weapon that killed your friend. You don't know exactly who these creatures are. Like they are some form of alien, clearly, but like different perhaps than the ones in which you have been blessed by. And you can see that there's a bus that's floating nearby. You've probably spent some time in Bastionland, and this seems like the most opportune moment for you to try to effect escape if you were to assist something. So
Right, so I'm gonna help him out here. Bring out a mace that I'm carrying, and when I swing it down, I'm gonna bless this being back to the stars.
okay, so we'll say you go. You're
Ooh.
probably closest because Chuffwick was near the middle of the boat. You'll go towards the one that Chuffwick's on.
What's your name?
My name?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. Jinxie 2.
It's Pollux.
Jinxier.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Pollux is good.
Pollux.
Okay.
Did you roll preacher?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Roll your Go ahead and roll your attack. Like your damage on this thing. You're still rolling private.
Oh, let me fix that.
Okay, so 2 points of damage is actually puts it exactly on 0. So it's not going to. I'm not going to roll a strength save yet. But it now sees that you're behind it. All right. Next round, Douglas, you're kind of by yourself. 1v1. Actually, no, didn't you? Yeah, you did manage to get this one into strength, but it did pass its
Right.
its strengths, but it's still here.
Yep.
I assume you're just going to keep shooting at it.
Yeah, I'll do another attack on it.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Another 7.
That's actually enough to just completely destroy it.
That's
because it was at 7
amazing.
HP and you just did 7. And this, you can tell that there was, even though when you look at it, it looks like this cloud that lacks any sort of real condensed physical form, and the light seemed to be coming up from nothing. You realize with the shot that you just exploded something on the inside. And now all these parts that were once kind of invisible suddenly become translucent and then visible as a giant hole in the section of this weird kind of translucent film that seems to stitch together all of the swirling clouds around it has exploded, and this giant glutton of like greenish goo explodes out into the deck behind it, and this thing falls over. and goes gray.
If I live, I'm gonna dig through that.
Okay.
Just to throw that on the table.
So Jinsey, roll a dex save. We'll see if you can go before this one because you did enter a little late.
Pollux.
I'm sorry, Pollux.
Oh, it's like, wait a second.
Jinsey's
He's like, am I still here?
So just roll a dex save to see if you can go before this thing. And you
Yeah, I
can.
do.
We'll say you do manage to get this attack off before they go. So go ahead. Roll your damage. It is right at 0, so no matter what you do, it'll be making a strength save.
Another 2.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to need a 10 or lower. And I did not. And this goes into critical. It's critical damage. It suffers critical damage, and much like what happened with Douglas, the invisible portion of the body that's stitching together all these swirling clouds suddenly becomes visible, translucent, and weird, and you smash it, and you can feel a crunch as it falls over. It doesn't seem to be dead yet. It still seems to sort of semi-be functioning. You see lights still beginning to flicker. The one with Douglas has turned like this gross, sickly gray. This one still seems to be able to emit some levels of light, as if it's struggling between staying like invisible-ish and kind of going fully corporeal and gray. What do you want to do? Pollux. Do you want to smash it, or do you want to...
Yeah, to make sure it's defeated.
Okay, and so yeah, you'll just continue to wail away at it. It's like you don't have to roll anything, and just
Okay.
I'm just curious if you wanted to leave it alive or if you want to keep attacking. And so you just smash and smash away. Douglas, you look around and you hear
For
smashing.
science.
You turn around and you can see that there is this figure that is now smashing the other one of these alien cloud creatures.
That is the one that killed his friend, though. So
I know.
That makes sense.
Oh no, I was just saying this is what you see. And what does Pollux
Mm-hmm.
look like? Long.
Aha. Fox is a bald, short man, just wearing long robes, just plain robes.
Okay, I like it.
Oh, okay, so it's a human.
Yeah, human.
Oh,
You look definitely, yeah. Starblessed look human. They're not. Yeah, not all aliens are like crazy looking. Some are. You can pick.
What item did you get?
Oh,
A hammer. It sounded like, right? A mace.
I got a mace for my weapon, but then I was given a star book.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So, does someone tend to chuffle,
Mom, a kidney.
which is flopping around? On top?
yeah, I would go over to Chuffwick and try to like help her up, and I guess casually, like because Pollux is next to Chuffwick, right?
That's correct.
So I would
forgot
just-
my Motrin.
I would just say to Pollux as I'm like trying to help Chuffwick, like, where on earth did you come from?
I was hiding in the bus.
Do you know how the beeps and the lights and
Yes, they must have been strange creatures from the sky.
no, you know how to drive it?
Oh, the bus. Of course not.
Yeah, and Miss Chuffwick will like pat your knee. Oh, you're so stupid, you blessed little boy.
Yeah, worry not about your friend, child. He is back with the stars now.
And then and now Miss Chuffwick remembers that Jinsey died, and she's just sad.
Yep. You barely knew him. He showed
Yeah.
up, put you 1,000 pounds more in debt, and now he's dead, and you got to pay off the debt, and now you're 1,000 pounds more in debt because Pollux is here. Okay.
Whacked someone in the head with a shovel. It's really the highlight of our time with them.
So, what do y'all want to do?
I think we should go check out their spaceship thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking for that engine, right?
The engine's here. Like you can see it. It's right in
Yeah,
front
we
of you.
want
It's-
to take this whole thing.
It's pretty big. You have to. You'd have to take some time and probably do a strength save to move it over. But like it's pretty big, and you have to like break it down. But with Pollux here, it'd probably be a little bit easier to break down, as if he might have a little bit more keen understanding of how to break it down.
Does this machine look like it can just be started and flown back as is?
It definitely seems like something's wrong with it. Jinxie, or gosh darn it, Pollux, you don't necessarily know what happened, but at some point it definitely broke down. You don't, and like as you were kind of hovering, the clouds began to circle around you, and you would know that they were like almost like they were ships that were interested in your little balloon craft that suddenly stalled in the sky. And like it seemed to like keep you, like it seemed to like kind of grasp onto you. Like you can see like it's almost like it's grabbing onto the boat in some ways, or like magnetically keeping it or something like that, kind of wrapping its cloud tendrils around and not letting it fall, suspending it in the air while it's trying to examine whatever the hell this machine is.
Okay.
Meanwhile, on the bus, I'm just tapping the fuel gauge, just seeing
Roll D6 about that,
if
by
it's
the way.
moving. Oh shit!
Oh God.
Thanks for the reminder.
I said it's a thing.
Don't roll a 1.
3.
Okay.
I rolled a 3.
Oh, it's getting down there. It's you can feel it starting to sputter. Whatever the fuck that sound was. Something like that. It's definitely starting to sputter.
This is being held by the tendrils nearby. We'll have to set it loose.
Is there anything interesting in their bodies?
Sure. I mean, there's this weird drill bit thingy that you rip it off, and it you can go ahead and put it in your inventory as alien weaponry. So, whenever you try to use this, you basically have to roll to see what happens. Because it's got a little kind of a random thing. And a 1 is it works really great and dissolves a person. A 2, it will kind of like burn away a limb. Or
Of mine?
No, of whoever you're targeting with.
Oh, okay.
Or a 4 to 6 will allow you to. It'll allow you to kind of like re-roll. It'll change your physical shape, and will allow you to re-roll your strength or your dex and possibly replace the score. That's only
Very
on a 4 to 6.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can tell that this thing has a limited supply of power. Probably it's certainly glitchy, and it was attached to their bodies in some way. And you're not one of them, so it probably has a finite usage to it.
Okay.
Okay. What's the plan?
Well, since this is being held in place, then I think we should just take the thing and get back on the bus.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take a little time to kind of break this down as best you can, and you try to haul it back over to the bus. Around the time you've got like you gotta have to break it down into different pieces. And as you get like maybe 3/4 of the way through moving it over the bus, you suddenly hear a strange sound. You hear like it's just, and you look around to try to. Does probably sounded terrible, but you look around to try to figure out what it is, and you can see that there's these 3 figures in these weird suits that are flying up from below, and they hop over top and they land onto the boat itself. And you can see one of them is starting to like unscrew their helmet, like it's like this big old astronaut helmet. And you see this very attractive looking man who just, and the hair kind of like turns. He's like, "Ah, I see you have found our machine for us. Thank you very much. I'm surprised. I thought you were a far less capable crew. But we'll be taking that from now on." And he goes and he pulls out this little gun from like this waist belt he has. And the rest of them are pulling out weapons. What do you want to do?
Well, since we already know that other crews were gonna come steal our stuff or try and take it from us first, I want to try my drill bit.
Okay. All right.
Like Miss Chuff. Now imagine.
Okay.
Miss Chuffwick is still hunched over this corpse. Like, you know, you guys are effectively moving things over. She's taking time. She's covered in green goo. She's been digging in it. And she just whips this arm drill bit over at the guy and she shoots somehow.
Okay.
You said a D6?
Yeah. Roll a D6. See what happens.
Let's see. 5.
Okay, so that basically means they can re-roll one of their strength or dex. And so you're shooting at the main guy.
No, the one next to him.
Okay, you're shooting at one of the other ones, and
Yeah.
all it means is that they have the you can see that their physical shape changes, and so you hear a as like their arms kind of get skinnier or longer, and like basically their stats are being relocated. Douglas and Jinsey, what do you want to do while that's all happening?
I guess I'm gonna try and just quick draw and shoot the guy that was talking
Okay.
with my flintlock pistol.
All right, Jinsey, or god darn it, Pollux, what do you want to do?
You've played yourself.
I'll run up the other guy. You said there was 3 of them, right?
Yeah, there's 3. There's one for each of you. Vilta's still in the bus. Okay. So go ahead and roll your damages. So Douglas, you got a 3. All right. So, oh gosh. All right. So you run up, whack them, and they're like, "Huh? How dare you hit me?" And Simpson, what are you doing over there? And he's like looking over towards the one that's all kind of changing in shape. And then it had pulled its gun out, so he's going to go ahead and fire his pistol. We'll make it a gun battle, so he'll go ahead and fire a pistol at Douglas. Douglas, that's 5 points. And then
it's putting me into strength.
the other one will pull out a saber. Ha ha! I shall cut you down. And they're all very like, if you've ever watched like Futurama, you kind of know what I'm doing.
Yep.
Zap Brannigan.
It's basically a series of Zach Brannigan's. Yeah, or Zap Brannigan's. 3 points as he cuts through you, Pollux. Okay.
That drops.
So I took-
maybe-
Yeah, I took 2 points into strength.
Okay. So go ahead and roll strength saves if you're out of your HP.
Well,
Those are
Okay.
bad rolls.
Both of you take critical damage and fall to the ground. And then you hear the one say, "Ha ha! We're not here to hurt you, but we will if we have to. Just give us the machine and you can be on your way." So, Chuffwick, what are you doing?
How much of the machine is left, like on?
3/4 of it have been moved onto the bus. There's like one small piece left. Vilta, you're able to do something too if you want. You can see this all happening.
Yeah, I only have a melee weapon, so that's... Well, I think I have a pistol.
So what's the chances of like Vilta being by so I can throw it onto the thing, onto the bus with her?
None.
I'm still on the bus. so-
None. You just very thoroughly described how you've been spending all this time
True.
like, digging the thing
Okay.
in. I don't think so.
Okay. So then, oh God. And I'm out. I wasn't able to get any stuff for my sculpting gun. I'm
All right.
depressed about that.
Old woman, you don't need to
gonna-
fight here. You can just live a nice, long, and wonderful life on this balloon craft. Just walk away.
There's part that I could not get of the engine, and she's gonna point to like the weird blinking spacecraft thing.
Okay.
Could you please start there, get that?
Old woman, the piece is right in front of you.
Well, that's one piece, yes.
Roll a charisma save.
Roll well.
8.
Okay. I see. Why was the machine on that, whatever that is? Huh. Simpson!
She'll point to the body at her feet. These guys, unfortunately, tried to get, but I knew we had to have.
And he's like, Simpson, go inspect that thing. And you see Simpson is like, oh, arms growing, and he's like in his suit. He's like, okay. And he starts to jet back over there. And he's like trying to get inside of this thing. He's like knocking on the side. I don't know what I'm doing, boss. Oh, damn it, Simpson. You're useless. Oh, Francis, go ahead and tend to these two. If they give you any trouble, just throw them over the side of the boat. And so you can see, making sure that these two aren't dead.
Did I
Vilta,
throw
what do you
my
do?
bottle?
Yeah.
I realized that I have that little electrical sticky lightning thing.
Okay.
And then
Roll a dex
he-
save to see if you can do it kind of stealthily without them.
do they
kind of
have
noticing
like air canisters on their back?
There's a mechanism, sure. Like it's not so much an air canister as it is like just like a small little engine on their back.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
I passed my deck save.
Yeah. So you manage to slowly creep over. You let go of the controls. The bus goes like that, and they're like, "Oh goodness!" And so they're paying attention to the bus as it's thing, and you chuck it over. So go ahead. I'll say it's only going to hit one of the two though.
Okay. And it was a
next to each
D6,
other.
right?
I think it was a D8.
D8.
I said. So you throw your little condensed lightning. Okay.
3.
And so it's the main guy.
Sure.
And he kind of explodes. Oh, goodness, what is this foul? And he looks over at where it came from. That was a mistake, woman. I was going to let you live. And he comes jetpacking over and into the bus, leaving just one person who right now is tending to both Pollux and Douglas on the boat.
I want to stab him with the drill bit.
Okay, roll a dex save to see if you can go first.
Okay.
See if you get the jump on him.
3.
You, in fact, do get a jump on them. He was very literally just sitting there making sure Pollux and Douglas weren't going to die. So please come up and jam the drill bit into his back. So roll a d8.
Okay.
Okay.
Oops, I don't want to do 2d8. I didn't realize. 5.
Okay. That will put him exactly at 0. So he's not into strength yet. So he'll be exactly at 0. And he will turn around like, what are you doing, you crazy old woman? And he gets to go.
Growl.
He gets to go.
No, she's just growling.
All right. So he's going to. He's got a saber. Saber is a D8, so he's just going to and just kind of try to cut through. I think all of them are just going to go before they attack.
Yeah.
It's really fun to do that. 6 points of damage towards Miss Chefwick. You poor old woman. What's wrong with you?
Puts me into strength.
Roll a strength save. Oh goodness.
Did it go? Did I click it?
I don't see it now. And
Fail.
you are now in critical damage as you are bleeding away. Let's 50-50 this. Let's see. It'll say he's managed to save one of the two of you. We're gonna go 1 to 3 is Douglas, 4 to 6 is Pollux. So one of you has been stabilized. So Douglas, you have been stabilized. Pollux, I'm not saying you're dead. I'm just saying you haven't been stabilized yet. So Vilta, you see this guy floating over, hops onto the bus with you.
I want to sledgehammer him if I can go first.
All right, so you managed to run up and try to grab him before he's able to kind of cleanly get into the window. Go ahead and roll your sledgehammer.
4.
All right, so he was so that's gonna bring him because he took damage already. So that's gonna bring him into strength. Okay, I need a roll. I need to roll a 9 or higher. All right, to not take critical damage. Or excuse me, 9 or lower to not take critical damage. I rolled a 17, and so you walk up, you smash him right in the chest, like, and he just falls.
Yes.
And you hear
Good
a little,
job, Vilta.
you hear a little, ha! I am falling. So he goes all the way down. Okay.
This is all part of my plan.
All right, Vilta, you can see that it's not going well on the deck of the ship. What do you want to do?
I want to try to jerry rig. I want to try to jerry rig some, twine, brick, whatever I need to do to kind of get things autopilot-y.
You would know that 3 of them just took some awful damage and are probably in very serious condition and need to be tended to quickly. No worries, Tombstone. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming by. We're up in the sky. We're in the stratosphere right now. Vilta, you would probably...
I've got 3/4 of a machine on the bus, so
Yes.
I can't just let the bus fall because that's where that is.
All right. So
wait, didn't I get back up with that 50-50 roll?
I think 50-50 roll. Like you're gonna be stable. Yeah, I'm gonna say you're stabilized at 0, and so but this is before you get an opportunity to do that. So Vilta, you're gonna try to do something. You're gonna try to jury rig something.
Yeah, so that I can get off the bus next turn.
Explain to me what this jury rig looks like.
Oh, goodness.
So what I'm going to do is, so I'm imagining this is sort of an older bus. So these buses have like seat cushions on them. So I'm basically going to kind of take that, kind of leathering from, like the driver's seat, basically and rip it into strips so that I can, kind of wrap it around, if there's like a throttle kind of a thing that needs to be kept forward,
Okay.
or if there's a pedal that needs to be, kept down, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take the seat and I'm going to rip it into shreds, into strips, and so that I can kind of knot some stuff wherever it needs to go.
Okay. Thank you for those bits, Tombstone. They're gonna need it. They're
Woo!
they're hovering between party wipe and non-party wipe here really quick.
This isn't party wipe games.
No,
so...
it's not. They are definitely gonna need those. All right, so you managed to get that jury rig. Douglas, what are you doing? You.
So if I'm back up, I'm assuming I'm next to the person who was tending to me, who just knocked Shufflick down. So is he
Who
facing
just
away from me
stabbed
then?
me.
So he's facing away from you. Yeah, he just turned around to he's like, haha, why is this old woman attacking me?
I was just
saving
poke it
her."
right into his back and point and blank him with my pistol.
Okay.
No, do it above like his head, because Chuffwick's short. Because you
Oh,
could shoot me.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
All right.
Let's not end me. That's
That's
his
an 8.
plan.
Dear God, you're rolling your damage so well tonight. It's 2 7s and an 8 so far. All right, so where did I have his stuff? I think that's he's definitely in strength. Chuffwick had done damage to him. So
I had done 8.
So that means he is at. Oh God!
Wow, this guy's taking 16 then. If he
I
took
need to
8
roll
previously.
a 1. I literally need to roll a 1. Like that's the only way. Here we go. Oh my God! I rolled a 1.
Oh.
That's
What the
impressive.
fuck?
I rolled a
Wow.
1. He is
So
still
with
alive.
those bits, what kind of cool thing is on the deck of this ship that you guys?
You tell
can
me.
have
It's for you
access
all to sort of tell me what you want, and like we'll figure out. But Vilta and Douglas, you are both alive. It's this thing's turn. So I think it's gonna go ahead and turn around. It's gonna see Douglas in front of him, and he's gonna go, "Ha ha! I just saved you from death. Now I will return you to it." And he'll go ahead and just slash you.
Oh no!
So sorry. It's 4 points.
I'm supposed to be exactly at 0 with strength.
You're 0 strength.
No!
Yeah, that's a full death,
no.
right?
That's true death. Douglas is
Yeah.
dead.
After all the hard work.
Oh no, it's so sad. I'll
Can
say.
we find like some paddles or something.
I think with if he stabs me, what I would do is because we're like on the edge of a ship, right?
Yeah. You're
So-
on a boat.
What I'll do is I'll just like grab him with one arm as I'm like dying, and then just like lean back and pull him with me off the ship. And
Oh, that's so heroic. And just and he's
yeah,
and all the way down, you're like, haha, I too am falling. Like, why are we
Just
falling?
Enya starts playing in the background.
It's somewhere below Douglas, like well below. Now that they've finally cleaned up all those dead old ladies that are in the ground, like, okay, we cleaned these bodies up. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Oh, God! God! Jeez! And it just explodes, and there's a giant crater. It will ever be known as Douglas Crater.
there
Okay.
we go.
Okay. Vilta, what are you doing?
So is there anybody else left to
Hey, Jen, how's it going?
smack with
There's
a
one guy.
sledgehammer?
No. There's just the one guy who went to inspect the alien ship.
So we could leave if we get stabilized and onto the bus.
You
real
can
quick.
see Chefwack, and you can see this other person.
Okay. So with
And you
those
can-
bits, I want to find something that'll stabilize.
We'll say you just take like little bits of like one of the aliens
The
that are
leather?
they're still kind of, and you're just gonna kind of like poke him right in the nipples with it, and suddenly he's awake. Pollux, you're awake.
I don't know who you are, but nice to meet you.
Or you can do the
thank you.
Chefwick, but that would have been creepier if I would have said that.
She was still breathing.
Just a
at the
tad more
moment.
strange.
Miss Chufwick,
just a little
"Hey,
more
when did you
inappropriate."
wake up?
Just a touch more inappropriate. Hey, Bert, how's it going? Oh, we've had 2 character deaths so far tonight. This is great.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I'll
we're
look
grabbing the
down
last.
to where
Okay.
Douglas fell and be like, don't worry about him. There's stars down there too.
Okay. All right.
You
Douglas
have
just
an interesting
heroically
view of life,
fell down from the stratosphere to Earth, and he's dead.
but he took a baddie with him.
That's what I mean. Heroically. I said heroically.
Yes.
I mean, the way Jinsey died was just sad.
Poor guy.
Poofed into dust.
He didn't
poofed
even have a
dust.
chance.
He didn't. He really didn't. It's the one roll. It's the luck. Sorry, it was mean and cruel, but it had to be done. Okay.
So we're collecting the last bit of the machine.
Okay.
We're getting onto the bus.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll. We'll say, let's roll a luck check. Derek, why don't you go ahead and roll a luck check for us? So go ahead and roll a d6. We'll see if the guy who's been inspecting the alien craft does not notice, but you do notice as you get back to the bus and you get all of the different machines on it. Ashley, what's up?
Can our bits be gas?
We already used bits for something. Didn't Melissa?
Shit, we did.
I used the bits to bring Pollux back.
Okay, so you get on the ship and on the Airbus, and as you start to fly away, you notice that that fuel button or that fuel needle is just above the E as you start flying down. It's going down no matter what. Roll a deck save to pilot this thing down once more.
Uh-oh. So what is right at? Is that?
Oh, that's good.
Good?
That's a success. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yay.
Yeah. Add or under. Okay. And you managed to keep this thing relatively stable. The three of you are on this at this point. And there's a fairly heavy bit of machinery. However, about halfway down, you hear a sputtering of the propeller. Whatever the hell. I can't do it. And you know that it is out of gas.
This is when I start putting on the parachute.
Okay. So you start strapping one of the parachutes on.
Oh gosh.
I don't know
we
about
only
you
have
guys,
3.
but I don't want to become a star right now.
What if we strapped the parachutes to the bus? Would all 3 help?
No. It's a bus. It's a double-decker bus with a very heavy
I'm hopeful.
machine on it. No, it's...
In this place,
please do
anything
it.
is
Please do
possible.
it, and we could have another crater in Bastionland. Yeah.
So there's 4 of us alive.
There's 3 of you
And a
alive.
machine.
3 of us alive.
There's 3 of us alive in a machine.
Mm-hmm. Well, you
Okay.
just
How
met
big is-
Pollux. You don't even know if he's a good guy.
How big is the engine?
Very big.
Oh
You
shit.
had to break it down into 4 pieces to get it onto the.
I think you and I are doing the tandem jump. I think we're gonna
Oh, one of the pieces is gonna get one of the.
like you and I do the just we're hugging and falling together
Oh God.
on the
Okay.
parachute.
That's gonna be a luck
Okay.
check. Okay. All right. And so
and then one for the machine.
you're gonna do your best to strap the machine together really quick. Put the parachute on it as fast as you can, and then throw it out. And so we've got Pollux jumping out, popping the ripcord.
Mm-hmm.
You're going down just fine, no issues whatsoever. Then we've got the machine. The cord was already popped. I'm assuming you drop it out.
Mm-hmm.
It falls, drifts down, lands. And then we've got Vilta and Chufwick who are hugging each other.
Yes, we are.
One of you pulls the ripcord, and I want you to roll a luck check. If you roll a 1, the worst possible thing is going to happen. Oh God, please roll a 1.
Go ahead. Roll
Who wants
it.
to do
Oh,
it?
I'm rolling.
I don't care. One of you has to do it though.
Melissa, I vote your turn.
All right. 4.
Okay, it's not so bad. So the 4 is usually the best possible scenario. 4 to 6 is like best possible scenarios. The 2 of you managed to float down. It's a little concerning, and we're gonna say that all of you land within the air. Like you land in Bastion, but not necessarily where you wanted to. So you're kind of like a little scattered at this point. But you can see the different parachutes. Some of them kind of got caught on buildings going down. Some of them managed to kind of rip at the last second, and so maybe the machine bumped a little bit on its final fall. You can see there's crowds that are beginning to circle around various things in the ground of the city, including this large crater And there's also sort of no, it's sort of a rent, not really. Like there's a little bit. It's loosely inspired, but there's no zombies and anything going on in here. But like, yeah. Anyway, just a pun, really. So you land back down, and there's a crowd that's forming around the machine. I would say that the three of you that survived can see each other's shoots, and you can see the machine, and you know the two of you that went on this job, Chuffwick and Vilta, that this was supposed to be your loot. So what do you do now that there's a crowd that's circling around it and trying to scavenge away at it?
I'm just gonna run in because we clearly have a parachute and it has a parachute. So trying to make that connection of like, you get away from this. This is ours. Everybody back.
Okay.
And she is wielding her sledgehammer vigorously.
Okay. Okay.
While Miss Chuffwick sneaks out, she's gonna since she's cleaned up after a lot of riots, she's well aware of like what happens to scare away people from riots.
Mm-hmm.
And so she'll start screaming about the authorities coming and trying to like break up the crowd.
Okay. All right. Pollux, what are you doing?
I'm gonna come around and make up a story this is fallen from the heavens, and if you get near this, you'll be like dematerialized.
Okay. These are all really good,
Very
really good
different
ideas,
approaches to
actually.
this.
Who of you's got the best chance at a charisma save? Who's got the highest charisma amongst you?
Mine's
Mine's
eight.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
So
8.
Vilta, did you say 12?
Yeah.
All right, Vilta, go ahead.
11.
Okay, and they are terrified of you as you're coming in, swinging this giant sledgehammer, and they start to back away. Except there's one person that kind of sticks around. Derek, are you rolling a new character?
I was looking through all the rules things, and I don't know what dice to roll. I'm assuming it's 3d6.
3d6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a 5 when I did it correctly the second time. It's the exact same as a d6 plus 3, so
So-
we're already off to a great
Did you
start.
roll your career first?
So you roll 3d.
Oh.
You roll 3d6s 3 times for strength,
Right.
dex, and for charisma. So you're 5 strength, 13 dex, and 10 charisma, and then
Yep.
we hit the matrix. So your highest number was what? Of those 3?
It was 13.
Again, what was your lowest?
5. So yeah, that's
so
that. I had the matrix. That I had
37.
down.
So you are 37.
Yep.
37 is going to be.
Repurposed augmental.
Why
And then-
are you continually repurposed?
Mechanically adapted for a purpose you were unable to fill. You found a job somewhere else. And go ahead and roll a d6 for your pounds and for your HP, and then we can see what else you get. So we've got a 6 and... Oh, God. I can't see it.
You don't need to eat or breathe?
That's kind of cool.
Okay, so for the municipal cleaning, okay, perfect. And then one is part metal body.
You get a broom too.
So as you're just like scaring all these people away, you can see that there's like this half human, half mechanical person that's just sort of trying to clean up all the mess that has been caused by this falling of this giant machine from the sky. And that is where Derek's character comes in. And you can see that they've done a fairly good job of kind of like very neatly putting together some of the bits that had broken apart as it hit the side of the building coming down. And you see the sweeping, Chuffwick, and I would say that maybe somewhere in your heart,
Yeah, it's running.
and like, yeah. And you know that like this thing is too big for just the 3 of you to move. Like you need help. You need help moving this. And everyone else just ran away. They're calling for cops because there's some crazy woman with a sledgehammer threatening to kill people. And you know that you don't have a whole lot of time. How do you get Derek's new character?
Same broom.
Is it the same broom?
Yeah, he gets to take a broom.
Oh yeah, you both have brooms.
So we're broom buddies.
Okay.
Soulmates, one might say.
Okay.
I don't think Vilta's gonna like me much though because I'm a machine.
That's true. You're half machine.
No, Vilta might leave the party after this.
What? Oh, jeez,
after
you're
this
so
one.
She'll roll a new character?
racist.
Ooh.
Oh God, Vilta. Just like Melissa
She
in
is?
real life. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just totally kidding. Okay.
Let's.
Okay, so you managed to recruit this new person to help you, offer them a cut or whatever, and so the four of you are starting to move your giant machine. Each one of you taking a corner and carrying it through the streets. Now,
Jinsey got us this job.
that's true. So you know that your job was actually to deliver it. Thanks, Gabe. Posture check. Your job was to deliver it specifically to the Roost, if you recall. The Roost was like the one place that you actually had like at the very top of a penthouse. It was like an aristocratic penthouse junkyard. So Long, why don't you roll a d6 for your journey there to see if anything happens along the way. See if
3.
Okay. Yeah, so halfway there, like right around when you're near like, surprisingly enough, when you're like probably around extinction events, we'll say that I'll ping it on the map for the four of you. Right around there by extinction events, as you're moving southward, as this kind of drops somewhere in the middle of the actual borough, and you're getting around there, you see these Slugburn pest control enforcers just start showing up out of nowhere, and they notice Vilta, and they say, hey you, with the sledge, hey old woman, you still owe us like 5,000 pounds here. What are we doing? And like you can see they're threateningly coming up with it, like their big old gas canisters and guns. Like, what's she carrying there?
We're getting your money.
Duh. Well, why don't we just take this? We'll just take this. This looks pretty.
Because you won't make as much money.
What do you mean we won't make us money? You're the ones in debt. I don't think the ones in debt should be telling us who are not in debt how to handle our finances.
Yes, but the people that want this machine would then be after you. So you might think you have more, but you're going to end up behind. So if you let us finish our job, then you'll get the money, and you won't have people on your ass that you don't want on your ass.
Well, that was some interesting calculus. You telling me that this is hot and that people are coming after it? Is that what you're saying?
Like dangerous people. Yeah, aliens.
Okay. Maybe. Maybe.
Like I don't think you realize I said aliens.
Yeah, I heard you. Aliens. Yeah, this, my uncle Frank's an alien. Yeah. Anyway.
Not
ones that
the
like
fun kind.
disintegrate people to dust instantaneously.
Yeah, he's got gas you would not believe. It's ridiculous.
No. Like, as in you're standing right where you are, and then you're disintegrated into dust.
Yeah, you seem a little strange. Roll a charisma save. I'm not saying it's aliens.
Damn it.
No, I think we're gonna come with you. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come with you, and we're gonna, we're gonna get the cut, and we're gonna, we've been running the juice on you for a bit.
Is it Slugburn or a Jolty engine now?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Because we
That's
switched.
the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll say it's still Slugburn, just because I've already established the canon, because I like doing
Sure.
the sort of intro.
Sure.
The accent.
Yeah. So, I think we're just gonna come with you, and I think we're just gonna, make sure everything goes, copacetic and such. You lot have a tendency to kind of slip away every now and then, and we don't really like having to chase you down. So let's just go. Where we going? Hey, we can help you out. Come on. And so they'll start to reach down and like also try to carry it, unless you want to do
How
something
many of
else.
them are there?
2.
And how visible are we right now?
I mean, you're on the streets, but like, man, there's been shit falling from the sky like all day. It's kind of a weird afternoon. But yeah, there's people around, but most people don't really care what the hell goes on. Like fights and such, they happen on the street all the time. No one really cares. There's cops
I'm
and
in
such, but
danger
it's
of
really
dying.
slow.
This is pretty heavy. It'd be great if you could carry it for us.
Fine.
I'm not gonna carry it for you. I mean,
They just lend
we'll
a hand.
lend a
sure.
hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right.
This is heavy.
All right. So they go ahead and you manage to get the rest of the way to the roost, you get into like the freight elevator. You probably have to break the machine down into sort of two separate parts, and then you go ahead and you take the elevator upwards. And do you remember the name of your contact? I ask as I scroll up so I can remember the name of your contact.
Hardwell Coley.
Hardwell Coley. Yep. And I don't remember his name, but we're gonna say it's this. We're gonna say it sounds like this. And he sees y'all coming in, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing? I told you, you're not supposed to bring this stuff on the main floor. The aristocrats, they don't want to see people like yous on the floors. This is absolutely ridiculous. Take it to the back. Hurry, 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 before someone sees you." And so then he's going to go back, and he's going to kind of start expecting it, like, "Oh, this thing's all damaged. What did you do to this thing? What, did this thing drop out of the sky? What's wrong with y'all?"
There's aliens.
I don't understand how that's an answer to my question.
I mean,
No, it's fine. But we're taking it out of the repair. They're gonna have to repair this thing, and we're taking it out of your cut. Is what we're doing. We're taking it out of your cut.
Well, actually, you're not going to have to pay a cut to Jinsey, so
Who was
there's
Jinsey?
that. He's the one that got us this job.
Oh, that little twerp. I don't even really know him all that well. I just really was looking for anybody.
Yeah.
Very forgettable
Dot, you
chap,
should
that
know
one.
he died trying to do this job.
Hey, that's fine. But I feel like there's more of you in the room now than there were when I gave you the job. There were like 4, and now there's like 6.
Yeah, I was sort of hoping you were going to be better at your security job and not let these people in, but you just let them in. So
Security job? What the hell are you talking about? I'm a businessman. I run this beautiful repurposing outfit. You know. What the hell are you talking about? Anyway. I feel like everyone
let
in
anybody
Bastion
in
has
here.
this voice now. All right, so he's going to go ahead and kind of take some moments to inspect it, kind of look it over. He's very good at kind of assessing value, and he's going to float. And he's like, all right. Here's the deal. I'll give you $5K for this. That's it. That's the best deal I can. You lost your friend, sure. I feel bad. So it's really probably only worth about 3 in its condition. So consider it like, friendly. You can take 5.
okay.
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Can Miss Truffick sell him back the camera he sold me?
Yeah. It's even more used than it was when I gave it to you. So I'll take it for, we'll say, 1/4 of the price that I sold it to you for, That sounds fair. It's just standard operating procedure. It's just how it is. You ever play one of them tabletop role-playing games? The resale value is always like 10% of the actual purchase value. I'm just saying. Seems kind of like a freaking scam to me. But it's like when you buy a car, you know? It's like when you buy a car. Like you drive it off the lot, suddenly it's not worth anything anymore.
And I like to imagine that Miss Truffick took one picture of all of us while we're on the bus.
Okay.
And it's
with Jinsey
Jinsey
and
Okay.
Douglas.
and
So-
Douglas.
So you all get your 5K, and immediately the Slugburn pest control people are like, well, I suppose we're just going to go ahead and take our cut. Plus a little extra, just because we helped you.
You
So-
got paid.
I beg your pardon? That's the whole point of this. We're
Uh-huh.
getting paid, and then a little bit extra because we put in some labor. No one said anything about labor. All right.
Your labor walking 10 blocks?
It-
I don't think so.
Do you see what happened to my hands? Look at these things. I use lotion every day. They're all cut up. This is going to take weeks to heal.
Yeah. Soft.
Yeah, I want them to be like a baby's behind. That's why I lotion all the time. So you guys will end up. He'll take his cut. You'll end up with like 3K
All right.
after all's said and done, and you kind of pay off your Slugburn pest control debt. You've got 3K left that you can disperse amongst you. You have a couple other odds, and I think you have 3 more of those jars left. We'll assume that we'll assume that maybe the one that was on Douglas like just managed to fall out of his pockets before he fell. So you have that. So we'll probably call it around there. Well, I think what we'll do is next time we play, we'll like you guys can keep the same characters, or we can roll new characters. Like I know that Derek and Long just rolled new characters. If you want to keep the same ones, it's fine. But
Vilta is not staying in a party with someone named Clank.
Hey,
what?
I'm gonna have to develop Clank's voice. I think it's gonna be something like "I love you too, friend. It's okay. You cannot
love
hurt me."
Oh man, it's so good.
Just to confirm, because I rolled a 6 on the money, does that mean it's 600 pounds, or is it literally 6 pounds? I don't know
It's
the
6
conversion.
pounds. It's like it's just what's in your pocket. So you have 6
Okay.
pounds in your pocket, and then
Okay.
whatever was on the list as well. Okay.
Yeah, I got that's yeah. How do you input armor onto your character sheet? Because I have a part metal body because my HP is only 1, but I can't. It says I always have 1 armor, and I can't change it from a 0.
It's interesting. You might need an like a part metal body. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I have.
You probably need to put it in there, which is what I'm doing now. And
Oh,
now it
there you
shows
go.
up as 1. Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. So that's Cloud9 from outer space. What goes up must come down. We actually had some deaths this time. It's fun.
Rest in peace,
Yeah.
Douglas.
Rest
the
in
Meat Cheese
peace.
Consortium will remember your
Yes,
antics.
Douglas is a legend. Like never
Honestly.
never has any character with so little done so much. His
Yeah.
stats
Which is
were
hilarious because in
awful.
our actual tabletop games, I usually roll like garbage, and in this, I did like pretty
Yeah,
good.
You crushed it. You
You
crushed
did.
it. You crushed it. Okay.
And creative stuff too.
Yeah, it was really fun. I really love this game. I think this game is so much fun. I think it really fits like the whole like we'll play it like every once or twice a month or something like that. Whenever we've got breaks in between some of the more campaign style games we're playing. So like I'm a big fan of it. I also want to try, like I was saying, I want to try Troika out. I think that's going to be one of the next experiments that we do on our weekend streams. So which is similar in some respects, like in the kind of like the super kind of weird, almost surrealistic way in which some of like the Electric Bastion and stuff kind of got bots into play. But yeah, so let's close it down. Again, we're Adventures in Lollygagging. For those of you that are in the channel, thank you for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening. Thanks for watching. Those of you who donated bits, thank you for doing so. We really do appreciate that. And if you're watching on VOD or on YouTube, thanks for checking us out. Come to our Twitch channel at some point and give us a follow and come watch us live as we pop on. In terms of upcoming content, on our channel on twitch.tv/lollygaggers, where you're at right now, we will be playing Alien from Free League on Monday, so you can come check that out. And then next week, a week from today, I think, we're going to be playing Mutineers Zero, getting back to our Gen Lab Alpha game. So that's what we have planned for our channel next week. You can find us a couple other places. So every Thursday, we're over on twitch.tv/ZweihanderRPG, where we play Zweihander. We're playing through another weird little game there. And every other Monday, when we're not playing Alien, we are over on the Free League Publishing channel. We play Vesson over there. So you can go ahead and follow that channel as well. And if you've got nothing to do later tonight, come over to the Goodman Games official channel, because I'll be playing some Dungeon Crawl Classics with some friends of ours from Defenders of Cobalt. So it's a weird game where my character has started a brand new religion that follows dogs of Thoth. It's very interesting.
Oh, this is that one.
This is Hexcrawl.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, dogs of Thoth. It's very, very good. And
That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion.
I have slowly converted like everyone in the party. It's pretty great. So everyone's now a follower of Dogs of Thoth.
I love it.
He's just a big dumb idiot. Like my guy's just a big dumb idiot. I love him.
The art for it that Brendan made is very
yeah,
cool.
we have cool little tokens that Brendan drew up for us. And then also on Monday, if you like your Zweihander, check out the Kickstarter for Flames of Freedom, which drops on Monday. And then on Tuesday, Melissa and I over on the same Zweihander channel, you can catch the Quick Start. We're playing the Quick Start, so you can kind of see a little bit of that.
One shot.
Yeah, so it's really good stuff. So come check it out. All right, so that's it. Enough of the billion plugs that I just provided, and that everyone forgot as soon as I said them. But we'll catch you later, and have a good night. I'm gonna go put us on the end, and I'll find somewhere to raid if I can. So yeah, bye.
Bye.
See you.
Bye, guys.